Katika jina la Yesu, hamjamboni. Amen. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Amen. Amen. Jina yangu ni Pastor Daniel na nataka tufanye matangazo kidogo kwamba tuko karibu kuelekea. After viewing, after maombi, tunaenda kwa magari. Kila mtu kwa gari yake. Tutatanguliwa na ambulance. Ambulance itafuatwa na has, alafu gari ya familia watafuata 2-3, and then wale wengine tutafuatilia nyuma. Na ni vema tufuatane tu sote pamoja tukiongoza. Sasa hivyo ukiangalia ambulance uione madriver tufate tu ambulance tukielekea tu, kwa sababu ukiwa na hoja watatupigia siren na tupite ikiwezekana. So just mark the ambulance na the hearse. Tufuatane tu ndio tuwe msafara moja tukielekea. Najua kuna jam, hata ukipitwa kidogo unakuwa tu umemark ambulance, tutawafuata na wataenda kwa pace mzuri. Kama driver ambulance ako hapo, tupeleke tu kwa pace ile mzuri. No mbio sana, kipigwa tu, lakini we will follow you anyway. Tutawafuata. Jambo jingine ni kwamba tukitoka tu hapa, our stop will be Langata. Kwa hivyo tukimaliza viewing na maombi, ni vema yule anataka kusimama ni hapa nyuma asimame pale, ndio tukitoka tumeenda tu mara moja, hakuna kusimama njiani. Tunaelekea sote tufuatana. Alright? Si ni sawa hivyo? Yes, kama kuna na tena mtu yoyote ambaye hana gari unione. Lakini tukiingia kila mtu akae tungojane tu. Na ni vema tupeane lift yule ako. Kuna gari, kuna hasi, kuna nafasi ya watu kama 14 ambao wanaweza kuingia. Na pia watu wanabebana mwingine na mwingine tu. Kuna magari yale hapo, kila mtu apate. Hatuko watu wengi na magari mengi. Hivyo kila mtu atakuwa anaweza kutoshea. Sawa sawa? Sawa, asanteni sana. Yes, na sasa tunamkaribisha ndugu ambaye atatuombea. Ana take over the program sasa. Asante sana.
Mimi ni James Mwangi na ninashukuru sana kwa nyinyi wote ambao mmefika asubuhi ya leo kuwa pamoja nasi na familia ya Muhindi. Asanteni kwa moyo mkubwa, kwa sababu najua kuwa hapa masaa hayo lazima muwe mliamka mapema sana. Tunadhamini. Wakati huu ni wakati ambao si rahisi. Wakati wa kuona mwili ni wakati mgumu sana, hasa kwa familia, kwa marafiki wa karibu, na kuna wengine wetu ambao tuko tofauti. Wengine hatuna nguvu. Ule ambao anaona hana nguvu ya kuangalia mwili ni sawa tu, asione vibaya, kwa sababu kuna mwingine labda hawezi. Wale wataweza, wakiwezwa, tunaweza shukuru sana kama watu wa familia ama marafiki au karibu na wao, ili mtu akiwezwa tusikute kwamba ameanguka tena amegongwa kichwa, sisi tukiwa hapo tunaangalia. So tusimame na watu wa familia pamoja, tukiona mtu anawezwa tunajaribu kumshikilia, kusimama na yeye, kwa sababu wakati huu na wakati wa kuteremsha mwili inakuwa wakati mgumu sana kwa wote, na kwa wengine wanawezwa. So basi tutasema sala tu ya kufariji, na baadaye kama vile tumeelekezwa moja kwa moja tunaenda, alafu ndio tuweze kuanza mwendo wa mpaka Langata. So basi tunaweza kushukuru kupitia kwa jina la mwana wako Yesu Kristo Muumba wetu. Ni wakati mwingine wa asubuhi hii ambao tunakuja mbele yako tukitoa shukrani zetu nyingi. Wakati huu wa asubuhi vile umetufikisha hapa na ukatulinda sisi wote mmoja mmoja, tumelala salama, umetuamsha ukatupa pumzi, na ndipo sasa tumefaulu kufika hapa. Tunashukuru sana kwamba wote ambao tumefika hapa tuna kusudi moja la kufariji familia ya Muhindi. Tunajua huu ni wakati mgumu sana kwao, kupoteza mmoja ambao wanampenda sana, wamekuwa naye miaka mingi na amefanya mambo mengi pamoja. Uhusiano wao ambao ni wa kidani sana, saa hii umewadhili sana kuona mmoja wao akienda. Tunaomba kwamba uwe nao na uwape nguvu na wafariji, kwa sababu wewe tunajua ni Mungu wa faraja. Tunajua kwamba wakati kama huu wewe ndiye unaweza tu kutupa nguvu ili tuweze kusimama tukiwa na uwezo wa kuendelea na programu ambayo iko mbele. Tuomba utupe nguvu na utupe uwezo na utusaidie. Tukumbuke kwamba Wanjiru ni kulala tu amelala. Kuna wakati ambao umeweka mbele ambapo utaweza kuvua wale wote ambao wamekufa, kama vile tulivyofanya familia ya Lazaro, na wakashukuru sana walipoona mwana wako akifufua, mmoja wao ambao alipenda sana. Tunajua kuna wakati umeweka ambao wale wote walio makaburini watasikia sauti yako, wataamka, tutawaona, tutaishi na wao, tutashangilia kwa yale ambao yaliwezekana kupitia kwa kifo cha mwanao. Hivyo basi, huu ni upendo mkubwa sana umetuwekea, na ni hiyo tumaini ambao inafanya hii familia kuwa na nguvu na kuweza kusimama. Tunaomba hata sisi mmoja mmoja ambao tuko hapa pia na sisi tupe nguvu, tuweze kuzidi kufariji familia hii hata baada ya mazishi, kwa sababu wanahitaji msaada wetu. Tunakuomba hata tukiwa kwa barabara tunapoelekea Langata, tafadhali acha malaika wako watuongoze, watulinde ili tuweze kufika salama, na bado mambo yote yakimalizikia kupitia kwa uwezo wako, tutazidi kushukuru na kuweza kufurahia yote ambayo yametendeka. Tunaomba uongozi wako na ulinzi tukiwa machache kwa sasa kupitia kwa Yesu Kristo aliye mfalme wetu. Amen. So kama vile tumeambiwa, tutafuatana tu moja moja, tukiona mwili tukitoka na tukiomba na nalikumbusha kwamba hawa wetu wengine tuongoze family iwe ndio ya mwisho kumalizia, lakini kama vile tumesema kuna wale ambao watahitaji kusimama na hiyo familia. Tusianze sasa wale wa karibu sana, sisi wengine tuanze, na tunaweza kuanza wapi? Tunaweza kuanza pale tukifuatana hivi, tukifuatana hivi, tukifuatana hivi, tukifuatana hivi, tukienda hivi, tukienda hivi, tukienda hivi. Familia nayo itaweza kufuata. Tafadhali tuweze kuongozwa na ile iko pale, wale wako pale tukifuata. Alafu tukitoka hapo, tukimaliza hapo ni kutokea hiyo hapo kwa hiyo mlango. Ndio kasi kuja wa. Okay, tutapitia hii mlango baada ya kuona mwili. So tutaelekezwa hapo.
Just a few reminders. Behind the tent here we have the gents toilet, ladies and gents toilet. It's in one place. So if there may be need for such, then no, you can go just behind the tent. It's just tighten this. And the seating for the family is right here on my right, in this particular tent. So family members who have come in a bit late and would like to know where to sit, then it's just on my right. And your vehicles, I'm assured they are safe. There is sufficient security, so don't worry about that. And we tend to forget we're still under the pandemic, so we're still urged to observe COVID protocols. We still need to sanitize. We still need to have our masks on. I just have mine off for the sake of a bit hard clearly and have it back at some point. But please, sanitize, have your masks on, and the fact that we are in an open and dusty environment, take care of that. After the funeral discourse, I'm informed the burial site is not far from here. The vehicle will drive us to the site. And at this point, then, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the family to invite you, to thank you all, first of all, for coming to condole with them during this moment of grief. It's been sudden, but it's nice to see that even within that short period, you were able to make time to come and condole with them, to comfort them, to console them in this moment of grief. So thank you very much for coming. And so to start us off, there is a beautiful song selected. I believe if you have your program behind it, you'll find song 139, See Yourself When All Is New. And if you would like, you can rise up as the song is played and you can sing along, please. Song 139, See Yourself When All Is New, and that's based on the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verses 1 up to 5. we have a nice talk to listen to, a very comforting talk, and we please pay attention as Brother Mwangi from the Thika China congregation delivers this discourse from the Bible. Brother Mwangi, please welcome.
I start by taking this opportunity to commend all of you who are in attendance for taking time to be with Muhindi's family. It's a very hard moment for the family, losing a loved one they have known for 16 years, and not to mention the relatives, workmates, friends who knew her, interacted her in her life. We are all grieved, and that's why we are here. So, leaving your commitments, your busy schedule to be with this family is highly, highly appreciated. As you all know that you will never realize who is a friend until you are in a problem. When you are eating, drinking, and a trauma, you may not know who is your friend. But when you are tense, pressure, in difficulties, and then you see someone standing with you, this is the time you realize this is a true friend. So on behalf of the Muhindi's family, I want to tell you that you are very much appreciated for everything to be with this family here. We are talking about Rosemary Wanjiru Muhindi. And before we go further, we do want to go through the eulogy for those who may not have known her, just to have a glimpse of what kind of a person Rosemary was. And many of you know her. But through this, we are able at least to get to understand her better. Here the introduction says that the late Rosemary Wanjiru Muhindi was born on June 6, 1962 at Thika Hospital, Kiambu County. She was daughter to the late John Wanjiru Muhindi and Lizzie Duta Muhindi, sister to Muhindi Wanjiru, Irene Muhindi, Ronie Muhindi, and Mercy Kilonzo. Education. Rosemary started her primary education at Fogoto Junior Primary School. She later completed her primary education at White Sisters Primary School. She proceeded for secondary education at Kiambu High School, and she finished her primary education in 1975. She finished her secondary education in 1979. She was admitted to Silver Teacher Training College in 1980 and graduated as a P1 teacher in 1982. In later years, she would undertake various courses and diplomas to further her teaching career. She has a cherished career as a teacher in various schools within Thika municipality, including Jamhuri Primary School, General Cargo Primary School, where she served as a deputy headmistress, and finally retired from Kisiwa Primary School in June 2022. Christian life. Rosemary was dedicated as a Christian minister of Jehovah's Witnesses. She associated with various congregations, mostly in Thika area. She had full faith and trust in the selection hope promised by Jesus in John chapter 5, verse 28 and to 29. Rosemary was bestowed with numerous gifts, foremost her everlasting smile, bubbly character, and always going the extra mile for all family members, never missing from a happy occasion such as marriages and sad occasions such as death. She lives as a great example on how we can go the extra mile for each other. Death. Rosemary enjoyed fairly good health with no known illness until the week of her death, where she developed breathing problems that led to her demise. Family, friends, and colleagues have been greatly shocked by her sudden illness and death. She will forever be remembered for her dedicated service to the children she taught and followed up for many years after they had graduated from university and some in accomplished careers today. She will be remembered dearly by the children of Kisiwa Primary School, where in addition to her excellent teaching, she was involved in extracurricular activities and most to be cherished by the children, the school feeding program. Human dies, can he live again? I wait all the days of my compulsory service until my leave comes. You will call and they will answer you. You will long for the work of your hands. That's the scriptures she believed in and she talked to others about. That is the short history of Rosemary Muhindi. But as you know, this is a very short history of a human being who has lived for 60 years. Normally, you know, when a child is born, very few who attend to see the child, maybe relatives, aunties. But usually when you die, because the history you have made, normally that's why you see many people coming to attend, because somehow, somewhat you have touched people's life, and they feel appealed to want even to be there when you are going, because you have made a name. And as you can see here, even among other things that we have read from this eulogy, she was known of her generosity. Why am I saying this? I was yesterday had a meeting with police in Thika who are working with her. And surprising enough is that many of them had something to say that she did unto them, kind deeds. You know, and the story could continue on and on. And for one, just to understand about her generosity, she had a feeding program in her school. She targeted children from poor families, and she made some arrangement to feed them out of her own pocket. In fact, even she used to lure her brother to be part of that. That was known. This was confessed by the fellow workers. Children who are destitute come from poor family. That was made for you. It's a big sign of generosity. Not to mention the others who has ever done good things. Ever smiling lady. How do you see Rosemary Muhindi looking dull, ever smiling, and of course organized. In fact, teachers were talking about how she was organized, her class was organized, children, whatever. She loved her job, And of course that called for sacrifice, living for others, so to speak. She had a joyful, bubbly look all the time, never missing family occasions, or even when others had issues, she would be there to support, right? And she was quick to forget. Family members are confessing this. If you happen to crisscross her in life, she would try to work it out and sort out. She was a peace seeker, right? And we always seeking to reconcile. So she will remember many, and still can continue on and on. If I call one after the other here, we can talk and talk until the day is over, and you still not finish about her life and how she interacted with people positively. So with that in mind, then we need now to think of the need to comfort this family. Maybe as you have seen, some when we were doing the body, some of them were almost fainting. And that is normal. Some cried, and others were just quiet and confused, not knowing what is happening and what is not happening. Sometimes when you lose a loved one, you know, the situation is very, very tensed. Why am I saying this? Many times when you lose a loved one, a lot of things happen. When that one is lost, sometimes some ask themselves, what will happen? Some build feeling emotionally overwhelmed, not knowing what to do, crying, etc. In fact, others, out of anxieties and anger and guilt, are also common to people when they lose loved ones. And not only that, some even have trouble in thinking patterns, they are confused, they are not able to carry on with their work normally as it should be. And of course, others all have a desire to withdraw, they don't want to mix with people, it's like you want to be away. And also, some even develop some health problems as a result. Even sometimes they end up even in the hospital. This is some of the grief that get people when they lose loved ones. Some even have difficulty handling essential tasks, work. All right, they're not able to carry on normally, and some wonder whether this will happen again, and it sometimes it's very, very worrying. Eh? Some even wonder how long is it going to take to end. That's what could be going through the families and the relatives and those who are close to her. This is something that I went through some 2 years ago. I lost 5 members of my family. 3 COVID, an accident, one stroke. Within 10 months, you talk about death. Before, I didn't know that I didn't know about death. I realized when I lost my loved ones in death, that particular moment. It's a feeling that no one can understand. You can't be able to explain. And someone that will it ever end. But just to comfort this family, I want to tell you this, that the intensity of grief does not last forever. So take heart. I'm talking to the family now. It eventually subsides. This is not to say that one fully recovers or forgets his or her loved one, as it were. No. However, little by little, chapters of grief you go, and this may take even months, some even years, and by the end of the day, it will be over. So please take comfort that what you are feeling will come. It's not going to be permanent, because this is something that happened in life. So that's for the family. And actually, as you may remember in the Bible, you read about Abraham. Abraham lost his wife. He grieved, he cried. He was a God's servant. It's not a sign of weakness when you are grieving, when you have lost a loved one. No. It's normal. Abraham in the book of Genesis chapter 23, verses 2, talk of him crying for his wife when she died. Also, Jacob mourned for his son Joseph when he died. When he was sold by his brothers and he was told that the son is dead, even if he used to eat, he could not be comforted. So you also remember Jesus himself when he attended the burial of Lazarus. What happened? Jesus, we are told in the book of John 11 that he wept with the family. He cried. And what about God himself? What about God himself? You may have heard many people saying that God is the one who is responsible of death. That yeye alikuja akachukua Rosemary akaenda na yeye mbinguni, they put it. He has taken her to heaven. Aliitwa na Mungu, a very common language. Meaning God enjoy when he see people dying, and that this family crying, because if he's one who is doing this, then definitely he must be enjoying the job. When you are wrong, but it's not the case. We saw Jesus crying when he attended a burial, when he saw his friend in a tomb for 4 days, Mary, and everybody in the family is crying. Jesus cried. You thought Jesus is the image of God. And it's like when you have seen Jesus, you have seen Jehovah God. So if Jesus cried in attending a burial, can you see that Jehovah God, wherever he is, one is happy, he's enjoying, ameita huyo. In fact, even some people use the language, tulimpenda lakini Mungu akampenda sana akamchukua. We loved him, yes, but God loved him so much that he took this particular person that died. And now he's left the family crying. That's a sign of a loving person? God is normally addressed as God of love, God of justice, a happy God. Is he rejoicing when he sees his family wailing? Is this one who have done this? Good question to answer. Let's find out from the Bible, because God speaks for himself through his word, the Bible. First of all, let us see. Now this family is crying. Rosemary is gone. There are a lot of things we are doing with family. Is God happy? Let's see what the Bible has to say. If you open your Bible, in the book of Ezekiel, I want us to look at a certain verse there, chapter 18. I want us to see, look at verse 32. It's saying about God, I do not take any pressure in the death of anyone. I do not take any pressure in the death of anyone, declares the sovereign Lord Jehovah. So, he's saying he does not take pressure. Look at this one. I do not take any pressure to the death of anyone without telling you. Even that wicked person dying, he does not take any pressure. So is he celebrated that now Wanjiru is no more with us? No. Because he does not take pressure in anyone dying. In fact, even those who have to die because of their wicked deeds, maybe when they have been mobbed by people. The same verse says that so turn back and leave. In fact, someone, he even encourage those who may die because of their evil life, about their life, to even change, because they does not take pressure in anyone dying. Say anyone. So could you see that then he is one who is responsible for the death of Rosemary? Here. That's it. That's what he's telling us. If you love your children, because we are told that God is love, he loves all of us, do you want to see your child dying? if you don't like to see your child dying, then would you be the one to kill the child? Would you be happy to see someone killing the child? You know what usually parents do when someone has done something of that nature? Wanapelekana kotini. God does not appreciate that. Does not take pressure when anyone dying. Then, what does that mean? There must be death is from elsewhere, not from God. In fact, like now that we are wailing with this family, see what the Bible is saying here in Psalms 143. Psalms 143. What is telling us about Jehovah now that we are wailing? As it was the case of Jesus, what is this telling us? Psalms 143. We want to look at verses. 143. We want to look at verses. 147. 147. We want to look at verses 3 there. See, he heals the brokenhearted. He binds up the wounds. He heals the brokenhearted. He binds up their wounds. So what God is saying here, when you are downhearted, when you are brokenhearted, He feels. He's wailing with you, like the way Jesus wailed with the family of Lazarus. Although that is not enough, you also look at the book of Psalms again, chapter 34, verse 18. In addition to that, what is it saying? It is telling us also, just to show how God feels about the occasion here. It says here, 34, Psalm 34, verse 18. It is saying that Jehovah is close to the brokenhearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. So where is He in this occasion? It was Jesus who was with us here, He'd be wailing, shedding tears. So God again, Jesus being the image of God, then definitely He must be wailing with us. Could He be the one who is responsible the day before? We read in Ezekiel, okay. Death must be from elsewhere. And one of the reasons why you wonder, think of this scenario, a situation where an accident has happened, and it has killed the father, the only sole breadwinner, the mother is crippled, the children are 2, 3, 4 years, they are left suffering. Mungu alimpenda huyu baba sana kuliko watoto wengi. Alihitaji huyu mzee. He needed this man in heaven to go and serve him, as they say. But those children who are left destitute, suffering, no education, no food. You wonder what about this. And yet, you took God is love. Would He be responsible of that? It doesn't agree with the Bible. Then we want to know, if that's the case, who is the cause of death? Why did we die? Why will teachers, doctors, good people die? Is God the one who is doing this business? I have a question to ask. Let's see where death comes from. We want to look at the book of Romans. To know exactly where death came from. The book of Romans, you look at it there. Romans chapter 5. Romans chapter 5. We want to have a look at verses 12. It's saying that is why just through one man sin entered into the world, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because they had sinned. He's saying that is why just through one man sin entered into the world, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because they had all sinned. Now you have to know the source. One man, of course, you know who that one is. In the Adam and Eve, in the Garden of Eden, beautiful garden. They were given fruits, all kind of good things to enjoy. And they were told, all these fruit that you can see here in this beautiful garden, you can eat. But what is this tree? Don't eat. Do you remember what happened? You know the story, isn't it? You know the story. Satan came hiding in a form of a snake and told the wife, you know what? You guys, what is wrong with you? What did I do to eat everything here? No. Only this tree, everything else we are allowed to eat. That's Genesis chapter 3. That's 1 to 3. And then, no. God told us not to eat this fruit only. The rest we can eat. Then he told them, guys, God is a liar. Come on, get out of it. God knows that the moment you eat this fruit, you become with God. You don't eat anymore. You become like Him. Decide for yourself what is wrong, what is wrong and what is right. Get out of it. But God had warned them. You eat, you die. Of course, when I ate, you remember the story? Stupid husband ate, never questioned. Death started from there. You were not born. It seemed like it had some biological effect in us, or in Adam. We inherited the grain of sin, which led to death. Right? We know that. But now, let's go back to this. Adam. We see when God, Satan must be somewhere hearing what happened. Then he came and lied at him. And you can imagine how God feels when people are actually propagating that God is one who is the cause of death. Yeah, I may eat a yeah, I may eat a It's not God. In fact, if anything, the Bible actually referred death as what? Look at it in the book of Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 26. How does it refer death? It says here that and the last enemy, death, is to be brought to nothing. So God has a plan to end death, brought to nothing. This Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 26. Death is found as an enemy. Then we expect the God of love, really, who has given a lot of good things, the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, and everything else, good weathers, be the one who is being this enemy to us. Would you actually be responsible for cause death to your son, daughter that you love? I mean, that's it, Adam. You cannot imagine how God feels when we actually accuse him all over. And he's not responsible. In fact, the one we are supposed to say is responsible, that is a murderer, is none other than Satan. Because remember, he's one who lied our parents. And they fall into this trap of death, which now, as a result of heretical problems, genes, we are dying. And yet, anytime we are saying, nobody will get it. Or maybe somebody may just say, yeah, Mr. Mungi, what are you talking about? Job. In the Bible, says like this. In the book of Job, man, let's read. Because some know what hang on that. And in many Bible places, people know read this verse. Let's understand it properly. Because we don't live here saying Mungi. No, this something is not very clear. Let's get into the book of Job there, and read a certain verse there, telling us that makes sometimes people get confused. Say that God is the one who actually caused death. In this book of Job there, in Job chapter 2, it's a statement that Job made there. It says, no, chapter 1, I mean. You remember this time Job lost everything, material things and all that. Job chapter 1. He was so discouraged when he lost all his wealth. He was a very rich man, and God had said there's no man in the world as good as he was. And here he was, animals, house, children, all dead. One day, but let's see what Job said. He said, let's go, Job verse 20. That Job got up and ripped up apart his garment and cut the hair off his hand. And then he fell to the ground and bowed down. And I bowed down. And he said, naked I came out of my mother's womb, and naked I will return. Jehovah has given, and Jehovah has taken away. Let the name of Jehovah continue to be praised. Job is saying here that God has given, he has taken. So he has given Wanjiru to the Muhindi family, now he has taken away. What are you telling us? Confusion? Contradiction? Let's understand this. Who destroyed Job's wealth? Who killed the children of Job? Is it God? According to you? Who did this? You remember the scenario where, angels were meeting in heaven with God, and then God told Job, hey, have you seen my servant Job? Nobody like him is so good, so loyal, so faithful. I mean, nobody like that one in the world. And you remember the story what Job said? Or what Satan said? Now let's have a look at it. If you go to chapter 2, you can see what happened. In fact, in verse 2 says, chapter 2 verse 2 there, it says when Job is, Satan is there in heaven and asked and God. And then Job said to Satan, where are you from? Satan answered, that's verse 2, chapter 2 verse 2. Satan answered Jehovah, from roving about on the earth and from walking about in it. And Jehovah said to Satan, have you taken note of my servant Job? There is no one like him on the earth. He is an upright man of integrity, fearing God and shunning what is bad. He is still holding firmly to his integrity, even though you are trying to cite me against him to destroy him for no reason. And Satan answered Jehovah, skin for skin. A man will give everything that he has for his life. But for a change, stretch out your hand and strike his bone and flesh, and he will surely cast you to your big face. Then 6 says, then Jehovah said to Satan, look, he is in your hand. Only do not take his life. He is in your hand. Only do not take his life. Verse 7 says, Satan went out from the presence of Jehovah and it struck Job with painful balls. So who was responsible for destroying Job's property, killing his children, and even causing suffering to him? Is it God? No. So when Job was saying, Mungu amechukua amerudia, it's sort of not understanding exactly the scenario behind Jehovah and Satan as they were talking about. He didn't know, out of not knowing who was responsible for this, he thought it's God. Because if you look at himself, he's so faithful and so loyal to God. He can't understand why this suffering. And in fact, those who came to comfort him were telling him, you must be evil, you must be living a second life, you must be wicked. The 3 friends who came to comfort him. So he's not mad. God must be responsible for this. And that's why he said, Mungu ameshukuru, Mungu amepeana ameshukuru. But Job actually, even to be very specific, he thought God is one who was striking him. You look also to chapter 10 there, of the same Job, 10, Job chapter 10, you look at verses 1, at the 3. Just see what he was saying, because he thought God is one who was doing it. Look at verse 3. Does it benefit you, he's telling God, does it benefit you to oppress, to despise the work of your hand, while you favor the advice of the wicked, or those people who are comforting? Then verse 6, that you should search out my error and keep looking for my sin. He thought God is doing it. Verse 7, You know that I am not guilty, and no one can save me from your hand. Your own hands have shaped me and made me, but now you would completely destroy me. He thought who was destroying him? God. Like you and I, maybe some of us have been always thinking that God is one who caused suffering. But look at this. Job thought it is God who was causing all this suffering. Destroyed his animals and burned his house and killed his children. And now his health. But who was responsible? You remember verse 7 said what? Or should I do? Satan went and tried Job. He's one who was doing this. So Satan do a lot of bad things and now actually put on God that he's one who was doing it. Now finally, Job later on, God came and talked to him later on in the following chapters. Read the book of Job, you understand. He later on, God talked to him and told him to understand him that he's not the one who had done that. And Job was so sorry about it. Look at chapter 42. Now Job even repenting for what he had said, because this is not God who is responsible. Look at this chapter 42 there. And then you will see verse 3. Job 42, chapter 2 verse 3 says, you say, who is this who is obscuring my counsel without knowledge? Therefore I spoke but without understanding. You see what Job is saying? He spoke without understanding about things too wonderful to me which I did not know. So yes, he did not understand. No wonder he was saying God is the one who is responsible. And then further than that, you see verse 5, my ears have heard about you, but now I do see you with my eyes. See? That is why I take back what I said. Take that. I like that. That's why I take back what I said. And I repent in dust and ashes. He was so sorry because he thought God is one who had done all these things, only to understand that God is not one who is responsible. So ukisikia mwambie anakuambia Mungu alipeana na amechukua, mwambie pana. That was just an utterance that is not right, mentioned by a human like you and I. Just like the way you remember Peter, he told Jesus what? Don't go there to die in Jerusalem. And Jesus told him, go behind me, Satan. Humans are born to make mistakes because of not understanding the situation. So Job also was in the same scenario. God is not the one who had caused this suffering, as equally even death as we have seen. Then whom can we then blame of death? Is it God? Really? See this this scripture here in the book of Hebrew, chapter 2 of the book of Hebrew, and see whom the Bible says is responsible of death, other than thinking with God. It says here in this book of Hebrew, chapter 2, verse 16. We don't want you to go confused. And I hope you are doing these scriptures to make sure that you review them, because when you are telling others the things you are talking about and you don't have proof, you have trouble. We are talking of Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14 says, therefore, since the young children are sharers of blood and flesh, he also similarly shared in the same things, so that through his death he might bring to nothing the one having the means to cause death. That is God? That is Jesus? No, it says the devil. It's because from the beginning there, he's the one who killed the start of death in humans by lying. And then later on, he's now also lying people, even preachers, making them think that God is one who is causing death. And that's what people have been thinking. God is love, and if anything, other than even seeing that people continue dying, he sent his son where? Here on earth. Reasons for people to keep on dying forever? John 3:16. God loved the world so much, he gave his only begotten son. For people to die forever? No. So whoever believeth in him will not perish but get everlasting life. So there is a time set when everlasting time will be guaranteed unto you. We are only waiting for the time to come. Because Jesus died for you and I. This time coming when death will be no more. And that is assured in the book of Revelation, yeah. When that time comes, the Lord Jesus said that you will come back again. You know that. And here, as it says, the effect of his ransom will definitely be felt all over, as put in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verses 4. It says here, and he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither mourning, nor cry, nor pain be anymore. The former things have passed away. Death will go. It says here, and he wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither mourning, nor cry, nor pain be anymore. The former things have passed away. God has set a time when he will remove suffering. He will remove mourning, like the one now the Muhindi's family is mourning. He will remove outcry, pain. You don't need doctors. And leave us the way God had intended from the very beginning when He created our first parent, Adam and Eve. Because if they never sinned against God, then you guaranteed for life everlasting. He is in the earth, is a paradise. That is exactly what God is going to restore. That's why He sent His Son, so that He can end death. And then the comfort this family is taking. So ukiwapigia simu usiwaambie mapenzi ya Mungu. Mungu alimchukua, poleni, usiwaambie. Don't tell them that. Tell them there is a hope of this election. You see Rosemary again come back to life, and you can imagine how Lazarus' family felt when they hugged their only brotherly hand come back to life, happy when Jesus resurrected him. The same case with the Muhindi's family will be happy when God resurrected this one. That is exactly what the Bible of John, the book of John says. That those who have died, they have a hope. John chapter 5, verse 28 and 29. It says there is time coming, and that is exactly what we feel. This is scripture that we have put in the program, actually show that they truly, and I do believe this actually. 5 verse 28 and 29. It says here that do not be amazed at this, because the hour is coming in which all those in heaven will talk will hear His voice and come out. Those who did good things for His resurrection of life, and those who practice vile things for His resurrection of judgment. It says time is coming, what will happen? All those in their grave will hear His voice and come out, it says. All of them, including Rosemary, and come out. Those who did good things for His resurrection of life, those who practiced vile things for His resurrection of judgment. So time is coming when all those in the grave will come out. And that's the time they will be awarded life for those who deserve it, and of course those who are sinners will be judged as it is in the scripture put it. And that's why this family have put in the program, they look forward to see her in this election. Besides that, there is also something that we like to mention briefly. What is the condition of the dead? But you see what is happening. Well, the Bible does not miss one. Say exactly what the condition of the dead are. Is if you look at this Ecclesiastes chapter 9, it also helps us to know the condition of the dead. It says here in chapter 9, verse 10, it says that whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might. For there is no work, no planning, no knowledge, no wisdom in the grave where you are going. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10. It says, and wherever your hand finds to do with all your might. For there is no work, no planning, no knowledge, no wisdom in the grave where you are going. Imagine someone without knowledge, no wisdom, no planning. Can he feel anything? Can he know what we are doing? Or say? He doesn't. He just waiting for the day of resurrection. In fact, even just you will tend to explain further. You look at verses 5 there, the same chapter, say, for the living know, same chapter 9, for the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing at all. Nor do they have any more reward, because all memory for them is forgotten. Also, their love, their hate, and their jealous have already perished, and they no longer have any share in what is done under the sun. What we are doing, we don't know. And notice here, say their hate, their love, their jealousy. So, is there anything you can do to Rosemary and feel hated or feel jealous or feel loved. No, because when you are dead, you are just dead. Essentially, selection. That's why even a dead body, whether you cremate or what, no feelings. And of course, in that condition, they can't worship God when they're in that condition. No knowledge, no jealousy, no love, no feelings, no wisdom. What service can you begin by a person in that kind of situation? Nothing. They're just there, not feeling anything, waiting the day of resurrection. That's something that the Bible put it very, very clearly. And of course, as we have seen, now the hope is resurrection. Now, the last question we want to ask you is, why is it very important for us how can we benefit by being here? Of course, with the few ones that we have talked, you are now able to understand your God is God is love and His possession. He's wailing with us, He's crying with us, He's comforting us, there's a hope of resurrection. That's something that makes us now to think of ourselves and see how we can be able to make a good name. Now, the freedom reminds us of the liberty and uncertainty of our life. Because, don't forget, death is so untimely and you can't know when it's going to come. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 11 mentions something that can help us to appreciate why it's important to be this kind of annotation. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 11, a very interesting scripture. It's saying here, 11, we want to look at verses, 9 verse 11. That's what it said. That's why it's good for us to qualitatively doing our life and our relationship with God as it were. It says here, verse 11 says, I have seen something further under the sun, that the swift do not always win the race, nor do the mighty win the battle, nor do the wise always have the food, nor do the intelligent always have the riches, nor do those with knowledge always have success. Because time, what is here? An unexpected events, but it them all. Time and events, but it them all. So that's why death is blind. It does not know whether you are a teacher, you are a doctor, you are a lawyer, you are anything can just come and grab you in any moment. Whether you are president or king or whatever, it can come any time. Because it says here, time and the foreseen occurrence can overtake us all. This is an accident. As you talk, even you can see this never coming then go as all of us. Whoever thought of that? So you cannot say because either I have money or I'm this way or I'm that, I don't have to worry about death. Death can come to anyone. And as proceeding verse 12 says, for man does not know his time, just as a fish or are caught in an evil net, and the birds are caught in a trap, so the Son of Man are ensnared in time of disaster, when it is suddenly taken. We don't know. Just like you, we should be just caught in a trap. And that's why you need to be always prepared. To always make a good name with God. So in case you are taken by death at any one given time, there's hope of resurrection of life. And more so, it's like what this book of Psalms 90 verse 12 tells us. Psalms 90 verse 12. It says here, 90 verse 12, it says that if we can start from 10, it says the span of our life is 70 years or 80. If one is especially strong, but they are all filled with trouble and sorrow. They quickly pass by and away flying. Verse 12 says, teach us how to count our days, so that we may acquire heart of wisdom. We are begging God to help us count our days. What does that really mean? When you are counting something, it's an indication of being very particular and you don't want to lose. We want to make sure nothing is going wrong when we're counting. Like there you count money, right? Help us to count our days. What does that really mean? Is the way we are living, is it worthy of God's smile? Am I making good name with God? Or I would even say, if say I happen to know that maybe I'm going to die next week, I would be the best man you can ever see in the world. Living well, being generous and kind and all that. And that involves actually making sure that we seek God, get to know His knowledge, study His Word, the Bible, and glow to imitate His Son, Christ Jesus, because He's our example. When you do that, then you'll be safe. Don't be blinded by either money or anything. No, that does not handle, because that does not know whether you are rich or poor or educated. It does not even know the class. So we need to make sure that we make a good name with God. And when you do that, then we will be saved and we will be happy. So seek godly conduct, good godly conduct in your life, be zealous in His work, sanctify Jehovah's name by your conduct, and when you do that, then Jehovah will be happy. And us. Let's not make this day as the last to be with them. Let's keep calling them, comforting them, and encouraging them. So now we have come to the end of our discourse, and now what we are going to do, we are going to carry this coffin and go all the way up to where we are buried. So we are requesting strong men. It's not my heavy. To try to help and take it there. Yes. So that we can now go to the next phase of doing the body. The main thing that made us to come here. If we can have some strong men to come and help us. just because we understand that we cannot be able to have exchange and sound system, we want to invite Brother Kenneth to give a vote of thanks. Just before we do that, there is only one scripture I would like to give you, because we may not be able to understand it when we get there, because I'm made to understand that there is no good with power. There's only one scripture we are going to conclude with in the book of Job. The book of Job, chapter 14, then verses 13 and 14 says, "Oh, that in the grave you would conceal me, that you would hide me until your anger passes by, that you would set a time limit for me and remember me. If a man dies, can he live again? I wait all the days of my compulsory service until my leave comes." If you look at this scripture, especially if you look at also chapter 12, it says, man also lies down and does not get up until heaven is no more. They will not wake up, nor will they be aroused from their sleep. Yes, now here, Job is saying that in the grave he doesn't mind to be concealed there. That he says here that you would hide me until your anger passes by, that you would set a time limit for me and remember me. So this is showing that Job was really longing a day that God will remember him and select him back to life. And of course it says, your man dies, can he come back to life again? I'll wait until the days of my compulsory service, until my leave comes. He will wait there in the grave until his leave comes. And that's exactly what Rosemary believed. She knew that the moment you die, you just wait there patiently. When we heard Jesus say that you come to resurrect the dead, that's exactly what his family is actually appreciating and looking time when Rosemary will come back to life again, just the way Job said. So now we want to invite Brother Keanu to come and give us a vote of thanks, and we can conclude the prayer.
My name is Keanu Muhindi. I'd like to give a vote of thanks on behalf of the family. First, I would like to thank the funeral committee, members who have made this occasion possible to take place. And I'd also like to to thank all those who have made contributions financially and in kind, and especially many who have offered themselves to assist the family in many ways as per the committee's requirement. I would also like to thank those who have sent condolences. We have gotten so many messages from within, and also we've gotten messages from outside the country. We thank all those who have sent those comforting messages. There are some who have made it to visit the family at their residence, to condole with them. We also thank them very much. We thank all those who have graced this occasion, and some of them just landed last night, and they still made it with us here. I'd also like to thank the Speaker, Brother Mwangi, and the Chairman for this occasion, and for the good talk he has given us. We also do not want to forget those who have dug and prepared the grave, those who have mounted the tents and the place to sit, and those who are providing other services like sanitation. Our sincere gratitude right from Sunday, 7th August until now. And in particular, to our mother, she would not have been able to bear this without you. She has said that several times, even as you go to the meetings. May our loving Father Jehovah bless you to time indefinite. Let us pray. Our dear Father Jehovah, we approach your throne through your Son Jesus Christ, our King and Redeemer. You are the Most High. You provide us with provision and sustain our lives. Honorable Father Jehovah, we thank you for your love. We thank you for your kindness. We thank you for the provisions you made of resurrection in which you have hope. And without resurrection, life will be, death will be unbearable. Honorable Father Jehovah, please continue to comfort Muhindi's family and especially our mom. Honorable Father Jehovah, as you proceed after this occasion, also continue to protect us so that we arrive at our destination safely. And honorable Father Jehovah, we know that we fall short of perfection and ask for your kind forgiveness. We bring this prayer to you in the name of Jesus Christ, our King and Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.